Welcome to Melrose Abbey. Come with me so I can show you the restoration and renovation of an old church that we turned into a wedding venue. This is over 100-year-old church. It was originally called the First Swedish Church of Kansas City. It was built by the Swedes, has so much rich history, and unfortunately over time it just wasn't taken care of and kind of fell apart, and it was on the market for a while. We bought it because I love the architecture, I love the history of it. We completely renovated it into a beautiful wedding venue so that it can once again be used to gather people, have memories, and it used to have tons of weddings, and we get to bring that back to life. So we've done a lot of work. As you can see, all this landscaping that you're seeing is all new. We planted new trees, bushes, flowers, and we pressure washed all the facade because it was not washed for over 100 years. And we also repaired the stained glass because there were a lot of leaks and issues, and we cleaned it all up to bring it back to its old glory. One thing I love is that the front doors were painted red. We really wanted to know what the original color were, so I was able to peel some of the layers of paint, and we found that old blue. So we brought that back to life, and that became the color of our venue. And when you walk in, this is the original terrazzo floors. We're able to clean it up a bit, but we kept the original floors here. One thing I love about the venue is all the woodwork that was done by hand by the Swedes. It's just so beautiful. So we're able to clean that up, and we painted it white just so that it's appropriate for the venue because it was all dark wood, and it was a hard decision. But after asking a lot of photographers, brides, we found that white is going to be the way to go so that we can still honor the past but make it relevant for today's weddings. So we painted the wood white, we restored everything. We tried to bring lighting that kind of matches the feel of a wedding but still keeps that historic element, and that's exactly what we did here. I love frame TV, so this is a TV, and we put the bride and groom picture here, and it looks just really good when people walk in because it looks like a real frame. And when you walk in here, we kept a lot of the woodwork, as you see, including all the doors. We're able to repair the doors so we can keep all the doors and the hardware. All right, I'm starting with the best spot of the whole space. But this is the ceremony space. It is beautiful, magnificent. We painted it white. It was dark brown when we came in, and we painted everything here white so it can be bright and be a great place for photos for a wedding. We also didn't have hardwood floors here, believe it or not. It was just concrete and then ugly carpet on top. So we ripped the concrete. I was hoping to find hardwood floors, but that wasn't the case. And we put light oak wood so it can feel like a blank canvas here. It was a little tricky having hardwood floors on a curved floors, but we were able to make it happen. And then you come here and all this woodwork is original. One thing that was a challenge here is that there was a baptismal right here. So from here all the way to maybe here, there's a big open hole for baptismal, and it was a challenge trying to make the trim look exact, but we're able to do it so you can't even tell that this trim is new and this trim is old because we matched it really, really well. These are the original pews that you see here. Again, everything, all that woodwork was handcrafted by the original congregation, which is beautiful. Up here were the organ rooms. There was an organ here that we tried to restore. However, the organ was very, very difficult to restore. We got bids that were over $150,000 to restore the organs. The only two companies that I was able to access that can fix them did not recommend fixing them. They said they're gonna cost $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 a year to upkeep. They took a lot of space, and what made me make the decision not to move forward with trying to restore them is I found out that the organ here was from the 60s because one of the people that came to inspect it told me that it's not original. And then we found an old article that they bought an organ from the 60s and added it here. So when I discovered that it was not original and how much it's gonna cost, I went around asking brides, will you really need to use an organ? And actually I got a lot of people saying no, or even if we do, we can just get a keyboard that sounds like an organ. And I know it's not the same, but we made the decision, let's use the space for a greater cause. And we removed the organs from those rooms. I'm gonna show them to you guys because now they're really, really cool lookout rooms. And that was where the organ is. So now we have this space where anyone can bring their own instrument if they choose to. So when you look here at the balcony, originally there were 3 levels of chairs. It fit a lot more people, but it was very tight. And also the height was very low for the railing, which made me nervous because I didn't want anyone possibly tripping. And another thing real quick is there was no central ductwork for an AC or heat. So what we did is the lowest level, we actually put the new duct and then we covered it so that it became the floor, and we now only have 2 layers of chairs instead of 3, but we have much more walkability around, and also this has led us to add a railing for safety. So we created this beautiful custom railing. We really wanted something to honor the look and the feel of the church. So we made sure that the railing had these curves that you can see them all around the stained glass. And just by matching the stained glass, it just made the whole space feel really cohesive. And it felt like we're honoring the past while still bringing it to functionality to the present. As we walk to the balcony, I want to share with you guys my favorite surprise when we were renovating, and I'll give the credit to my beautiful wife Abby, who's not with us today because she's with the baby and she's very pregnant. But there was a huge wall that covered this right here, this beautiful massive window. There was a wall right there with a little tiny door to go in and out of the balcony. I met with the pastor that was here since the 70s. When I asked him, was this wall here? He told me that it was always here. So we believe that sometime in the 50s or the 60s, they added this wall. We believe the reason they did it is probably one of 2 reasons, but one, and that's the most likely reason, is because they wanted just insulation from all the heat. When you didn't have central AC, it probably got really hot. So they wanted something to remove the heat or just push it back from this space. We also think that maybe noise, but I don't think that's much of a problem. So we decided, okay, well, now we have central AC, we paid a lot of money for it, we gotta open this back. So once we opened the wall, we of course got engineers involved, made sure it's not a retaining wall. Once we opened the wall, so much light came in. So between painting the space white from brown and opening that wall, this place is probably 10 times brighter than what it was. It brought so much life. And now with all the photos, you can see this beautiful, really tall stained glass windows. So let's go up in the balcony, and I want to also show you guys this beautiful chandelier. This was custom made. We wanted to make sure we get the perfect size. We didn't want something too small here. So when we got it, we made sure it also has a lot of lights, has a lot of crystals, and just brings this place to a magical experience. And that was our goal. The old chandelier is cool and we still have it. I'll show it to you. We still have it in storage because I'd love to use it, repurpose it somewhere. But it very much felt like it's out of like Lord of the Rings or something like that. And we just didn't think that would be cool for a wedding. In fact, we tried to use it for the groom suite because it's just very masculine and metally, but it was just too big for that space. But we have it and maybe we'll use it for something one day. Let's go to the balcony. As you guys see, all the woodwork has been preserved. Now we have access to this beautiful window. And when I was telling you guys that there was a wall here, the wall actually was all the way here and it covered all of this. So it was a huge surprise that when we started removing the wall carefully, we discovered the original Swedish handmade, handcrafted woodwork, and were able to preserve it and get it back to life and get it back exposed. And one of the hard decisions that we had to make is deciding whether or not we're gonna have hardwood floors here. That was the original plan. However, we decided to go with carpet for a few reasons, but one is its sound insulation, because guess who ends up in the balcony? It's people coming to the wedding late. They're running late and they're coming to the balcony because there's no space or they don't want to distract anyone. And we don't want people coming high heels or the photographer and you can hear every step downstairs. But as you guys hear, like I was saying earlier, you can see here that there was another set of chairs over here, but it was lower. And that's where we put the ductwork and then put this floor instead of 2 levels. But by doing that, we had to add this because originally the railing is literally what ended here, which was probably down to here. So when we removed all that to put all the ductwork for heating, that's when we added this railing, and we're very pleased with how it looks now. And you can see here, one thing that I love that was also Abby's idea is that blue that you see around the floral. It was originally green and pink, and we wanted to bring that blue that we found in the front door, dusty blue that's very timeless for weddings, and we painted the flower blue, and it became kind of our signature here. Our logo is that blue right here. Next, we're gonna be stopping at the bridal suite. And I'm so proud to say that as far as we know, our bridal suite is the largest in Kansas City, and we love it so much. We wanted to put a lot of emphasis and time on having the suites really high end, because a lot of wedding venues can be beautiful, but then they don't really put much emphasis on the time where the groom is getting ready and the bride's getting ready. And almost every wedding, they're spending more time in that suite with the other bridesmaids getting ready than the actual ceremony. So we wanted the experience to be pleasant so that they're not sitting somewhere stuffy and dark for 6 hours, 7 hours to get ready before an hour ceremony. As we walk back, this area back here was the Sunday classrooms for the church. And we found the one space that had the most natural light, and we said, this is it. This is gonna be the bridal suite. Welcome to the bridal suite. We've put a lot of time and energy to make sure that the first 6, 7, 8 hours of a bride's wedding day, everything that she's wanted, with all the memories that she's wanted to have with her bridesmaids, mom, family members. So as you can see, there's a lot of natural light. We've put a lot of mirrors everywhere, a huge mirror here so that the bridesmaids and the bride can get ready without being in each other's spaces. Beautiful countertop, lots of space for photos. One thing that I also really love is this right here, our little wet bar here. We're originally gonna create an arched wet bar, but then we thought about it, and that was my idea. I thought, let's make it unique and let's make it match the windows of the stained glass windows of the church. So when you look outside, they're literally lined up stained glass windows with a little bit of like a pointy top, and we matched that so it lines up with the style. So we thought of every detail, even the mirror. We wanted to make sure we get a vintage mirror so that it just matches that old history instead of just a basic mirror. But one of the biggest debates my wife Abby and I had was furniture. I was a big advocate, let's get pretty furniture that's cheap. Even if it breaks easily, we can always replace it. But she said, no, we want to be unique. We want to take people to how things used to be built. So we got custom made Italian marble for everything, as you can see, because we didn't want to just be another venue that looks pretty and it's just a machine. We wanted to actually be a true experience of taking people back to the roaring 20s when the building was built, where everything was thought of, furniture was made by hand, and things lasted way longer than it lasts now. So all the furniture you see, handcrafted, very high quality, and again, handmade marble, can't beat that. One last thing about the bridal suite that makes us really unique is we actually put showers in all our bathrooms. And the reason we did that is because just in case there's a last minute accident, something spills, or maybe a bride really needs to just wash her hair because whatever reason, we have that access here so that there's no reason for someone having to run back to their Airbnb stressed and, you know, trying to make it to a hotel. Everything is here as you need it. So now we're gonna move from here to one of my favorite spaces, which is where the organ was. Follow me. So you come here right across the bridal suite, and this is a junior suite. Originally, this was filled with pipes because it was the organ room like I showed earlier, but we thought, well, now that we don't have the organ, it's more space. So we have 2 additional spaces for someone to work, which has been great because we've had brides that just wanted a moment with mom alone before they go walk out the aisle, and this space is great. She can step away. We've had a bride that wanted to get ready and do a reveal for the other bridesmaids, so she was here while they were there. We've had family members like a mother-in-law that wanted to get ready but didn't want to be in the way of, you know, all the girls hanging. So the mother-in-law was here, you know, getting ready. So just a great place for a little bit of privacy. So one of my favorite spaces here is this lookout. This is where the pipes used to, I guess, pipe for sound. But when we removed everything, you have this beautiful lookout. And the great thing is the bride can look outside and see all the guests, and they can't see her. From the outside, from the other side, they can see shadow, but they can't really see the bride. Abby and I spent some time doing some research and finding the fabric that is see-through from one side and not the other side. So this is just a great spot for a bride to do that. Okay, so now follow me for the groom suite. There's a slight chance that Abby and I selfishly used some pictures from our wedding and put right here to remember our own wedding. Welcome to the groom suite. So Abby spent a lot of time on the bridal suite to make it her own. I wanted to do this. So we made sure that it's dark and moody. One thing we also did not cut corners on are the lighting. So we got this beautiful, very large chandelier that's masculine, that's moody. We did the same thing here, got custom made marble. We also made sure it's dark to just give that moodiness, that old rich money for the grooms when they're hanging out. We have a TV, a large TV. We have a bar here. I love the granite we picked for this bar. We have games and things that they can do while they're hanging out, because apparently guys are ready way earlier and they don't have much to do. Big sectional, great opportunities for photos. But again, we did the same thing. We put a full bathroom here because you'll be surprised how many guests so far have told us that they needed it, because there's always that groomsman that's coming with messy hair or hasn't showered and coming late from a plane or slept in. So this is a great spot so you can say, hey, you need to shower and get ready, buddy. You're gonna look good for pictures. And again, that's something unique because most venues don't have that. So that person will either have to look messy or they will have to run real quick to the hotel room or to their house, get ready and come back. And we put a lot of emphasis also on tile selection. So for the showers, or even when you look here for the tile we picked, we wanted to bring tile that looks old and historic, and also tile that has soul to it. So this tile is handmade in Spain. So every piece of tile is different than the other because it's handmade. It's imperfect, but that's what makes it perfect. And again, it brings you back to the roaring 20s when tile was all handmade and just so much detail in every piece of the tile. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, so this room, unlike the bridal suite, was not the Sunday classroom. This room was actually the original pastor's office. So the pastor's desk when we bought the venue was right here behind that original 100-year-old stone fireplace, and the pastor was here, and this was like the secretary office. So it was just perfect that we were able to reuse the pastor's space to have it as the groom suite. What's a good wedding without a good reception? Now heads up, we have a wedding this weekend, so we lined up all the chairs and all that, but that being said, it looks kind of messy because we're prepping for the wedding, but I want to show it to you guys, so let's go. So here's our kitchen. Obviously that's not open to the public, that's for catering, but we wanted to make sure that everything the catering needs, from a warming oven to a refrigerator, a working station, dishwasher, everything is here, ready to go. Double doors so it can be easy to open and close. Now we're actually gonna go to the reception space. Again, it's a little messy because we're preparing for a wedding in a couple of days, but you'll be able to have the vision. All right, welcome to the reception space. I will admit this space was the most challenging. There are a lot of elements to it. So one thing is there is old concrete all through here. And when we tore out the green carpet, the concrete was just in a bad condition. It was not even. So we had to keep grinding it to try to make it as even as possible. And basically, I was given the option to have hardwood floors, which I wanted to have hardwood floors versus laminate, but laminate was not an option because we needed something thick because they just could not make it all as smooth as we needed to be. So we have all hardwood floors in this space. We've put a lot of time also picking the chandeliers here. We wanted something that feels grand but not distracting, and not too big but not too small. So we put these here. We believe these are timeless and they're still elegant for the space. My second favorite part, besides the discovery of that wall above this that we opened up, was deciding where we're gonna put the bar. So originally the architect wanted the bar in the back, which I'm gonna show you guys the back. That used to be the apartment space for the person that used to live and take care of the building. And the bathrooms originally here were in these two coves right here. There was a women's bathroom, men's bathroom. And the architect was gonna leave the bathrooms here and was gonna have the bar over there. And it was just frustrating me because I'm like, I don't like the idea of people walking out of the bathroom and everyone can see them. But I didn't know what to do until I left out of town. And sometimes when you leave town and you leave what you're familiar with, you can think clearly. And I was like, wait a second, why don't we switch it? Why don't we have the bar right here is a statement and the bathroom back where the apartment was? I know it seems so easy to figure out, but at the time it was such a challenge because your mind is just so accustomed to what was normal. So I came back with the idea and we made it happen. So let me show you guys the bar. I'm gonna turn on the light so you can see it. We did the same thing here where we put some coves and light and mirrors to just make the space feel elegant. We did everything dark here, so it's a huge contrast from the rest of the reception and from the ceremony space to give this moodiness to it. And we just love the space because it's just unique. And a lot of wedding venues will have like a mobile cart, or they just don't, again, put a lot of emphasis on the table where they're serving. But we wanted people to walk in and feel like they're coming to an old rich bar from New York City from the 20s, and that's exactly what we did here. Now, one thing I want to show you real quick is what I talked to you guys about earlier, which is the apartment that used to have the caregiver of the building. So that was back there. We opened it up and we turned it into the bathroom instead of having it as the bar. And we had a little extra nook. So we took that nook and we turned it into just a little social lounge. So if someone is an introvert and they want to have a side conversation at a loud wedding, they can go to that side. And one thing real quick I want to tell you is that this space was all green carpet, and it used to be the fellowship hall. They used to have right here in this area, they used to have a kitchen, a full kitchen, and it used to be the space after church where people can come in here, cook together and eat and hang out. It was a great space, but it was very, very outdated. So we got rid of the kitchen that was right here. So this right here is the social lounge. It's beautiful. We're still gonna add to it, but it's just great spot for people to come, hang out, and chat right here. I have to show you guys the bathroom because you guys know we're suckers for good chandeliers, but we're also suckers for good tile. So we didn't want to go short on the bathroom. So another debate with me and my wife, because I thought we don't need all this tile. And she said, yes, we should have all the tile we can. So we put this beautiful Moroccan tile right here, also handmade. And we brought this dark olive green that's a historic color. We wanted the contrast with white counter to make this huge contrast. It's like moody, but also bright. We added light all around the mirrors, and we also wanted to do something funky. So we added these lights here that are unique. They're definitely not historic, but we wanted something a little bit different. But everything here is dark and moody. And originally we were gonna have the stalls that you see in any bathroom, those plastic little dividers. And I found out after getting bids, which I never liked them anyway, that they were more expensive, which is crazy to me, than actually installing walls and installing more separate private spaces, all tiled in there. It was actually more expensive to not do that. So we decided against the regular stalls that everyone puts, and we created this beautiful, elegant space with a lot of tile, a lot of character, so that again, even when people are stepping to the bathroom, they're not just leaving a wedding and coming back, they're experiencing the wedding just being right here. Last but not least, I'm gonna show you guys the lobby, and that lobby is the hotel lobby, but we also use it for weddings so that if people need an extra space, we have a lot of like elderly in weddings, they love that space because they can take few steps upstairs and be somewhere quieter and they can hang out and catch up. But it's also, that lobby is our boutique hotel wedding, which is gonna be part 2 because this is way too long and we're not completely done with the hotel, but we have a boutique hotel where the wedding party can decide if they want to book it as part of the package, and they can stay a day before the wedding, a day after the wedding, or a full weekend, or whatever they want, and turn the one-day wedding event to a whole weekend experience. So let me show you the lobby, and then part 2, we're gonna go through the hotels. So here we are, the lobby. Again, it's great space. We used this blue, our blue, the Melrose Abbey blue here, but it's space that can be used as a flexible area for different causes or needs. So we've had it where people use it during cocktail hour for extra people to hang out. We've had it where the bride and groom actually for wedding wanted some privacy during cocktail hours. So they came, closed the door and had champagne here together and read each other vows right here. But it's just flexible area, and it's gonna be great once we open the boutique hotel, the Melrose Hotel, because if people wanna hang out late at night, they can just hang out here. And again, we did not go cutting any corners even in this space. As you guys can see, just lots of details, marble, custom made furniture to the size of the space. And these are really cool. I love the collections we've got of original things from the first Swedish church. So this right here is the couple, the first couple that got married. They got married here May 16th, 1921, which is crazy because my birthday is May 16th, but also the first wedding we had was the same day. So it was like 100 years later. It was just crazy perfect, or 100 and few years later. And original photo from a men's Bible study from the 1920s. Looked like they had like 200 men in it, which is crazy. Swedish dolls that the immigrants that moved here brought with them. But my favorite part of all this is what I was given, which is my favorite gift out of all of it. And it's this beautiful Swedish Bible. And this Bible was the church Bible, and it's actually from the 1800s. So before this building was built, when they immigrated here and they would meet at other buildings, they came with the Bible. And then once the church was built here, they had it right here. And I just had the privilege of the last pastor just handing me this Bible and saying, this is part of the history, you should keep it. And it's so dear to me. And we also have more artifacts here, old hymnal books from when they would meet here. So I love the history that we're able to keep right here. And of course, you know us, we'll do the big chandelier, strong statement. Had few people say this is their favorite in the whole building. But anyway, all that to say, we're so excited about finishing the Melrose Hotel, so people don't come just for one day, but they can actually stay here and have a full experience. So I'm gonna update you guys on that. Once we're done, we'll do a walkthrough and I'll show it to you guys. Thanks for watching.